but the pressure to settle down that they apply on themselves and their body kind of causes them to walk down the aisle knowing what the result will be. So, do men have that too?
I don't ask men that question as much.
What I found with men is they can sometimes know that they're not marrying the right person, but usually because these men, they tend to be okay with accepting the monotony of marriage. Those men that walk down the aisle knowing it's not the right person, they tend to be like, it's not the right person, but I'm okay with settling down and I accept the bland reality of marriage. They've succumbed to it. But with women who know, they will eventually go into ask for the divorce. Men are happy to stay married, even if they're not madly in love or not madly happy, if they're that kind of guy.
Who files for divorce more, men or women?
Women, yeah. But
why is that?
A lot of the time it's a cry for help. There's been so many times where women say to me, it's like, oh, I told him I want a divorce, but hoping he'd come back for me, but he let me pack my bags. And so sometimes they file for divorce or take it that far as a way of testing their partner. And if they're with quite a healthy partner, they'll take your word as gospel, and they think you mean it.
Why do so many women try to test their men constantly?
It's an evolutionary thing. It's an evolutionary thing because here's the reality. We are designed to have children with men, and childbirth is potentially fatal. We die from childbirth if we were left in, our natural habitat. So to put that risk onto a relationship, he better be able to endure all types of storms.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to test them. So we have to, unfortunately, test them. We have to test, are they going to be faithful? Are they going to be financially stable? Are they going to be able to have their own boundaries? We push. Now, the problem is, unfortunately for men, is when we push you and you succumb to us, you automatically lose us. What we're saying when we're pushing you is really make sure you don't give in to this, because if you do, then I know you're not strong enough.
Oh my God, give me an example. What's a common example?
It might be something like I push a man to say, I'm going to come home when I want. I'm going to come home and do what I want with the girls, wherever. I'm going to come on girls' trips. I'm going to do whatever I want. Push you. And then when you actually give in and say, okay, essentially she feels like she's not being protected. So she feels like nobody's governing her.
You don't have a spine.
You're not responding. You're not responsible. Or she might say, I'm talking to my ex-boyfriend, and you say, I don't feel comfortable with that. She might, no, you have to. I have to. Fine, he accepts it. Essentially, she's saying that you don't mind cuckoldry. You don't mind if I have an affair. Bye. So essentially, what we're begging for sometimes is the boundary, not the kind of. We're not looking for you to bow down.
Wow.
So hard for men to figure that out.
Right.
I feel so bad for men.
Funny.
It's like reverse psychology all the time, unfortunately.
Outside of people who are divorced and are responsible for communicating with their exes to co-parent.
To co-parent, yeah.
Do you think it's possible for a man or a woman to speak to an ex-partner as a friend while they're in a new relationship and it not be an issue?
I think it's definitely possible, but it's not necessarily respectful. Here's the thing, it's definitely possible. Two people can move past it and they're not into each other and whatever it is, but it's not respectful to your new connection. So you have to choose whether just because I have the ability to have a very platonic relationship with an ex doesn't mean I should have the willingness to do it if it disrespects my current relationship or my current partner. Now, if your partner's okay with it, maybe that's different, but I just think you should be self-regulated enough to know where your values are based. And when you enter a relationship, a part of that should be to respect it enough to let go of relationships that don't serve the new relationship in a way that's going to be constructive. What do you think?
I think that's right. Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think a man or a woman who is not liking if their partner is speaking to their ex relationship, does that mean they are jealous and insecure, or actually they have self-esteem?
I think it's an element of boundaries. I think it's just a case of, I think we naturally desire partners who are self-regulated. We naturally want a partner that says, oh, I'm in a relationship now, I love you and I care for you, but I'm in a relationship and I don't want it to affect my new partner. So we naturally want somebody who has that. Now, if we are asking for them to have that, and it doesn't necessarily mean insecure, it just means that you prioritize the relationship over other relationships that should really be a priority. And a formal relationship outside of children, with children, is really important, and it's really important to have a healthy relationship. But outside of children, it doesn't have to trigger jealousy, but it would be nice if your partner respected things without you having to voice them.
Sure.
Yeah. Would you be okay with somebody speaking to an ex, or?
I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean